to us and
because we
do their thing.
Yeah, each county does their own thing.
Yes, sir.
And we're waiting on DOT who's cut that. First of all, they had to cut a giant road.
Right.
And then they had to move the river to make sure it didn't back flood. And they literally done all that as they're coming up. What you've gone around is the old stagecoach road.
Yeah.
And it's got the old, and then part of it's the old highways before they cut it straight through.
Yeah.
And there were some private property owners because once they closed that road years ago, in the Rutherford County side, once they close that road, it goes back to the property owners on it. And so apparently somebody got upset. They got in touch with the sheriff's department.
That it's going through people's property?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because no longer
the only property owners that we've had come through here were crying because they were so happy.
Yeah, the property owners have been benefiting from this, and they've been happy.
I'm sure they have, but not all of them, or we wouldn't have had the phone call.
I don't believe that. I mean, personally, I don't think it's...
Well, I can tell you that's where it ended up.
Like to face my accuser, you know what I mean?
Well, they didn't have you arrested, so it's not like you're going to have to go to court.
All right, so let me ask you this. So we have locals here.
There is no accuser, exactly. It's the government.
Do you know who invited us? We have friends that said that there was an event going on in Lake Lure, and they said that they want us to be there. Are we allowed to go to that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the United States. We can travel.
Yeah,
but like, we just listen. We're all tired. We're all exhausted. Like, we don't want to piss you off.
It's like the government comes in a day late and a dollar short and starts waving clipboards around. None of the people here care. We don't care.
Well, I can tell you what time I arrived on Saturday morning after it happened. I can tell you I got over 100 trees down. I got damaged buildings.
Well, then,
I know what it is.
Let us help you. Let us help you. We're here to help. That's why we're here. But
we're more effective than they are.
Listen, they said that they wouldn't get a fucking road through there. People that can't get to their houses, and I apologize for cussing, in the next 4 or 5 years. They said they can't get DOT through there in the next 9 years, and now we have people that are able to go to their homes. And yet,
we're delegitimizing and undermining the credentials of the government. So now they're going to come here and try to make it seem like they have purpose.
None of that is true. What you just said, that is not true.
I don't think that's necessarily what it is. I think everyone wants to help so badly that everyone just needs to figure out a way to get on the same page.
Isaiah's good. Isaiah's with. He's
I'm
good.
Dave, Isaiah.
Nice to meet you.
I want to be on the same team.
It's been like a month, folks, and it feels like we haven't gotten really anywhere. Don't get me wrong. Thanks to the hard work from the volunteers on the ground, the cleanup process is in full swing. But here we are, a month later, and I'm still reporting to you all the same stuff. That people still need help. People are still trapped in certain places. As you can see at the beginning of this video, the government is still stepping in and stopping people from delivering supplies, stopping people from helping. All around certain areas, there are markers on the ground marking where they believe bodies or remains or something may be. Yet, there's just markers. They haven't even dug for a lot of these people yet that could be under this mud or debris, just markers where people could be. And some of these agencies that rolled in, these government agencies, they've already rolled out. They came in for a few photo opportunities. Now that the media is over with the story, these agencies already rolled out. And like I explained to you all the last time I talked to you all about this situation, in about a week, you're not going to ever hear about this story again. There's going to be too much stuff going on in the world, and the people in North Carolina are going to be forgotten about. And I say that as the people of Tennessee have never really even been talked about. A lot of the focus on the aftermath of Hurricane Helene has mainly been, on North Carolina and how a lot of these areas in North Carolina have been affected. But Tennessee saw a lot of bad stuff too. And the footage that I'm showing you right now, this isn't from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. This is all current. These areas still look like a nuclear bomb dropped on them. And like I said, most of these areas still haven't been searched for the missing. And a lot of the areas that have been searched, even areas where they think they may have found some bodies are missing people. They haven't even dug for the people yet. It's absolutely wild. People on the ground, they say there's a stench in the area. People are getting sick from drinking the water. And now, in one of the most disgusting turn of events, you see, folks, there's a lot of people who lost their homes. There's people living in tents. There's people with nowhere to go. And now, even though the government has not done what they should have done to properly help these people, the government is threatening to take people's kids away because they don't have a home to live in, because their home was swept away in a freaking natural disaster.
DSS is threatening to take away children from parents in Western North Carolina because they're homeless. Red Cross, the one that people donated millions of dollars to, has decided there's no longer a need for them in Western North Carolina and has started closing down their shelter with almost zero notice. So far, they've closed down 3, Old Fort, Marion, and Clyde, leaving hundreds without shelter, and by the time they close all their shelters, thousands. Basically telling them to figure it out themselves, and then having DSS come in and say, well, if you can't figure it out, I'm going to take your kid because you're homeless. You've got to be freaking kidding me. You have got to be freaking kidding me. I can tell you for a fact, Old Fort, 80% of their population is now homeless. You have people over here trying to donate campers and tiny homes, but the county wants to fight people about having permits to put tiny homes down. You'll let them have a tent on their property, but you won't let them have a tiny home without going through all the legal necessities. Again, are you kidding me? I can only imagine what the people in Western North Carolina are feeling like to lose every single thing that they own, including some of their family members, just to be treated like they're the scum on the bottom of somebody's shoe. Y'all so worried about this person and that person doing the wrong thing, but you ain't seeing what's right freaking in front of you.
This is absolutely disgusting on so many levels, and I shouldn't even have to explain why. Everyone should be able to get this one, right? I mean, we got illegal immigrants pouring into this country, and our government finds a place for them. Our government has shut down and rented out entire high-rise luxury hotels in New York City to house these immigrants. Our government is housing immigrants in airports all across America, folks, just having certain parts of the airports dedicated to housing immigrants. Our government has forced our kids out of school. They have shut down kids' schools, forced them to do virtual learning so they can turn their schools into giant homes for illegal immigrants. Yet the folks who lost their homes from Hurricane Helene, who had to resort to living in a freaking tent because our government decided that all they were worth was a one-time $700 check, they're being threatened to have their kids snatched away from them? Imagine that. It's America last, folks. America last. You can be a violent drug dealer who had to flee your country because of the crimes you committed. You can come over here, get treated like a first-class citizen, have your rent, groceries, and entire life paid for. Meanwhile, you could be a hard-working American that has never done anything wrong. You can lose everything because of the government's incompetence when it comes to the dams and the infrastructure in your area. You could lose everything in a storm, and then you will be treated like the scum of the earth. You'll be treated like you're the one that doesn't belong. And as you watch the immigrants flock and have fun and make their demands for lobster tails and stuff in their high-rise luxury hotels, you're sitting on the side of a freaking swamp. The smell, the stench of death in the air. Living in a $15, $20 Walmart tent, hoping that the government doesn't snatch away your kids because the government failed you. Absolutely insane. But, hey, we're a week away from the election, folks. And like I've already told you, after this election, once this news cycle gets even crazier, you're not going to hear much about North Carolina. anymore. You're not going to hear much about Tennessee. You're not going to hear much about what's going on. But please understand that even if you're distracted by everything else in the news, that this problem hasn't gone away and it's not going to go away for a very long time. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.